All right, guys, Dominick Izzo, Wing Chun out here in Chicago. How the hell are you? This is going to be another long one today, right? Everyone wants to know, what do I think of the Liang Ting's lineage of Wing Chun? We're going to get into it today. Now, I pulled up some videos that, again, I was going through, like, what got my passion for Wing Chun years ago that I really liked, that made me go, damn, that's the shit I want to fucking learn, right? So, again, my background, my first teacher was Danny Halligan. Danny Halligan was under Ron Heimberger. Heimberger passed away. He was under Ip Ching. And then Eric Lee became Danny Sifu. Danny would come out once a month from Iowa. We'd do like a 4-hour training day. So literally my lessons for like this is why I'm such a perfectionist on this shit is so if Danny came out on a Saturday and I learned the Tanda, punch, Tanda turn, I spent the next 4 weeks until he came out, going over what I learned. Okay, Tan, punch. And I would try to meticulously break down every mechanical aspect of how does my hips turn and sink into this? How's my elbow position? Well, this feels cramped. Can I violate this? This is why I'm so big into martial arts. Study your martial arts. Just makes sense, right? So I was kind of blessed in that aspect. Danny also, we're about the same height. Danny has forearms of steel. When you cheese out Danny, it's like you feel these fucking farm boy hands that'll break your face. Danny could probably crack a coconut with one hand. He's that friggin' strong. And he's got these forearms of steel. So immediately, like when I met Danny, was at a law enforcement seminar, and at the end of the seminar, he taught Wing Chun for defensive tactics. So this is great. Halligan Combat Systems. I'll give a plug if that's still around. And what got me in on Danny was I was an extremely proficient wrestler. Couldn't shoot on Danny. Couldn't take him down. So that's when I sat there and formally started learning Wing Chun. I'm like, all right, I need to know what the fuck this is. I had informal Wing Chun training. And then when I met Danny, he was my first Sifu. Then it was Phil Nearing, second. So Phil started under Steve Lee Swift, who was under Simon Lau, right? And then Phil met Sam Kwok. And then Phil, again, we have the big height size. I think Phil at his tallest was maybe 6'2", maybe. Seems like he always towered over me, obviously. Different mindset, was defensive. He fell in love with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He was a close personal friend of Carlson Gracie. He talked about Carl. He used to say all the time, Sam Kwok is my teacher, but Carlson was my Sifu. He would say that all the time. That kind of changed the game for Wing Chun. And again, I've talked about this a million times, was like, it was the defensive chi sao, and I'm like, I'm 5'7". I can't play the game of these people. It just doesn't make sense. And there's one video Phil has up where you'll see the backing up of what his students do. And actually, I'm going to pull that up. While I look at this, I want to show you what changed my mindset and what got really frustrating in this game. Then after Phil, I went to Syed Ahmad. And Syed, again, he's stuck underneath his Sifu's Dave Jeglin, who was a student or classmate of Phil Nearing's when they were both under Steve Lee Swift together. So I needed that mindset. So Syed, is that video gone? The video's gone, Phil. Why'd you take that down? All right, whatever. Anyways, it shows a video of Phil and how we used to back up in our training. And he used to say, you got to get in a position of defense before you can get a position to attack. And I was like, okay, that's strategically cool, but just didn't work for Wing Chun. So anyways, the only experience I have, so to speak, of the Liang Ting lineage are people who have come into my school, people I've chi-saoed with, and then Sean McGuire from Naptown Wing Chun with the Indianapolis Wing Chun guys. Sean tells a story, and I'm going to paraphrase what he said. He started in the Liang Ting lineage. Then he went to somebody help me out there in the audience. I know you guys know it. Gary Lamb. So Sean, if you ever want to know why he switched, ask him. With that being said, the only reason that it's like I'll say I don't like the Liang Ting lineage is because I can't make what they make work. And I'll explain that, right? They do the heavy 70-30 weight distribution. I can't make it work. My body screams 50-50 root plant tripod stance, right? I understand it's a school and an organization, but they've got like 24 levels to reach as a student before you can start teaching. And then there's 17 levels of that. It's an academy. I get that. I respect that. That's their thing. It's just not how I run a school. Outside of that, I truly think that there's two things that the Lung Ting lineage, specifically under Keith Kernspet, and I'm going to guess that a majority of the guys that I bring up for examples, and trust me, I'm going to be leaving a bunch out, but a majority of the guys, they had to have been under that lineage, because when I start to see deviation from that, it changes the game. The two things, and I'm going to show in examples of why these guys, no other school, there is not one other Wing Chun school that does this as better than they do. Nobody, not Gary Lam, nobody under Ip Chun, Ip Ching, Simon Lau, nobody. They do a detachment of elbow better than any other fucking Wing Chun school in the world. Nobody is. And I'll show you what that means. And yeah, guys, sorry guys, even the Dave Meadows school, I know you guys want to say this. This is strictly for the European branch. No one is more fucking aggressive in their Wing Chun training than these guys are. I'm sorry. Nope. And I know there's some great guys out there that study under Dave, like Doc Savage is a fucking killer. I've talked about him a lot. I've only talked to Doc. I don't know him personally. These guys are they're killers. Those guys down, man, I wouldn't fuck with them. But these guys, specifically the Europeans over in the Lung Ting lineage, they're fucking savages. Nobody is more aggressive than they are, and nobody does more detachment of elbows than they do. So what do I mean by that? Let's talk about that for a second. Let's pull up one of the first videos. Now, remember, we got to go back to when I started watching YouTube. Was it 2006? Geez, so I was already pretty in-depth in my Wing Chun career, but it's like we weren't... Well, what YouTube did was it really is awesome, because now I'm being trained one way, and then I watch these guys doing this, and I'm like, okay. And it's always how you bring it up to your Sifu. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a Sifu, you should, excuse me, you should be able to have your students ask a question. Sifu, I see this guy doing it online. What are your thoughts on that? And you should be able to answer. But your student should also ask respectfully, right? They should be able to go, Sifu, I saw this online. Can you explain what your thoughts are on this? Don't go, well, so-and-so does it this way online. Don't fucking do that as a student. That, to me, is a grounds for slap in the face. Just saying. But when I first saw this, okay, this is another great demonstration, and this is one of the beginning ones, and you're going to see a big attribute in all this. What do I mean by detachment of elbow? This is a superb Wing Chun Chi Sao demonstration, and of course we have somebody who really needs no introduction, Eamon Bostepi. And this was cool back then. You're like, fuck yeah, man! Oh, fucking Wing Chun! Ugh, getting chills already. I'm going to play through this for a minute, then I'm going to mute it, break it down, tell you what I mean. All right. So what do I mean by this as we keep playing? I'm going to back this up for a second so you guys can see it. What do I mean about separation of elbow? So if we fight with the core, right? So many Wing Chun people fight with the arms. And that means from the elbow down to the fingertips. That's what they're used to chasing and whatnot. We did call it under Phil one hard and one soft in Chi Sao. What that meant was if I'm rolling with my hands, and usually it's a Bong Sao hand, I will let my Bong Sao hand collapse into me, which violates the structure of the Bong Sao, right? And then that'll make you think you got an entry coming in, and then this gets into waist and hip manipulation. I'll keep my hips pointed towards you, but I'll turn my waist, so my hips are still pointed into you, and I'll absorb that energy, and then I'll hit you with the hard hand that's going by. It's bull and a matador. The bull comes in, the matador sucks it in with the red cape, and then stabs it. Watch what I mean by this. Look at Eamon's core, and you're going to see this theme with almost everyone from this lineage. He will take energy in, and if there's pressure in the arm, he'll collapse it Allow it to come in. There's no rattle to the structure. The structure is not affected. No other school does this better than they do. You'll see this. It's an absorption. They let the energy come in. It's like, fine, fucker. You want to come in this close? They're going to eat you up and destroy you. This is close range combat. These guys are just superior at it, right? And again, this range. I want to back up for a second. This is not my comfortable range. Like you see, they're chi-saoing all the way out there. That's what we would have done under Phil. I didn't like it. It's too far away for me. I'm 5'7". I cannot chi-sao a taller man's game, right? So that, again, we'll go look at chi-sao purposes. And you just see when the energy comes in, boom, they relax it, let it come in. It doesn't affect the structure. This is how I know. A lot of people talk about the match that never happened between, was it Rickson Gracie and Eamon? I honestly think Eamon would have won. I really do. Because Eamon, from a wrestler's point of view, this is why trying to take somebody down in this lineage is fucking dangerous, because they know how to absorb the energy into their bodies and their structure isn't affected. Now, the only criticism I have is, if they can make it work with that 70-30 weight distribution, great. I wouldn't teach it, because now you're compromising somebody's structure to try to understand. This is years and years and years of self-analysis in structure. This is studying your martial art. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. This is one of the first videos I saw a long time ago that I was like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. This is the Wing Chun that I wanted to learn. It's aggressive, and we have it on that. We obviously have, what I liked was, if you have more examples by this, I want to see more examples from this. One of the best guys out there, again, had personal conversations with him. Don't know him, but Chris Collins, come the fuck on, dude. I mean, shit. If there's very few Sifus that I would love to train under. Chris is one of them. If I had an opportunity to go train under Chris Collins, in a fucking heartbeat, I would. There's no question. But again, let's watch watch his structure as he's chi-saoing, and watch the constant forward advancement. Now, don't forget, I think Chris is also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Great body awareness, but watch this.
Martial arts is absolutely my passion in life. I love it. I'm
look at him.
About it.
I know you're talking, Chris, but let's look at this. Watch him just constantly advance, and the detachment of the elbow. It collapses in, and he walks right into whatever, because there's no consequence, because he knows how to use the rest of his body. Boom, it's like, you give me energy, boom, absorb, deflect. But these guys are the best at this. There's no question. And this also affords their hands to be much faster than most Wing Chun people, because they're fighting with the elbow. Everything else is detached from them. This is all core. These guys are in better control of their core than anybody else, as far as I'm concerned. Again, so that's a short clip from Chris Collins. If you don't know who he is, Chris Collins Action. He was in one of the Ip Man movies. He's just a fucking stud in his own right. The guy does law enforcement defensive tactics. We could call him a movie star now. Well done, Chris. You've done so much to pioneer and move this art forward. We're appreciative of it. Let me see who else. When we got into this aspect of it, again, too, another favorite over the years, and I know he's teaching more and more, but we got to look at Sifu Paul Fernandez. Again, one of the reasons I like Paul so much was he just doesn't give a shit. He's a fucking brawler. The mindset for what he has. You train with Paul, you're going to learn how to fight. Nothing else. You're going to learn how to fight. But then let's watch Paul's chi-sao. This is years ago. These guys understand energetics, how it affects the core. A lot of schools don't train like this. They're afraid to get hit. Look. Oh, boom. Wait, damn you, Paul. I got to back that up, because that's perfect example of what I mean. Oh, where's it at? Okay, here's where it's got to be here. Look at how he does not care about how close that left elbow is. This has got to be it. He just there. That's it. He lets the opponent collapse in the elbow, and he attacks with the other hand. Boom. He doesn't care. This is fucking brilliant understanding of the core and torso. This is why these guys are difficult to take down. And they train. They don't fuck around when they train either. Look how relaxed he is. He doesn't care. He's fighting with center line is faced off in a different direction. No. These guys could be facing west, but their center line is internal and it's beelined right in on you. They just get it. They get the collapsible elbow energy. And look at these. This is the tail end of the whip, right? So you get that sonic boom after you crack a whip and it goes out there. This is it. This is the example. Is his structure, head over hips over feet, allows him perfect alignment. Look at him just cracking these shots off. They're going to be so relaxed, and they're going to fucking hurt when he hits. Yeah, this is more superior. This is just superior understanding of your core in relationship to fighting with the elbow. These guys, again, are brilliant. Again, that Sifu Paul Fernandez, years and years old. I want to move on again. We got to look at, did I jump far ahead in this one? All right, another guy that, again, these are guys overseas, right? This was, I don't know if it's Mayday Norbert or Norbert Mayday, but again, another guy who I saw years ago. I was like, this guy is and if you see him, like you actually look at him, he's so calm with his shit. You know he'll rip your spine out. These guys are that brutal. Let's see. Look at it's the collapsibility. They just get it. It doesn't affect their core. And then look at this. The speed is one thing, but the pressure and the advancements and the violence. These are guys that will hit you. Boom, boom. This is real training. This is aggressive. I like this. It's a demo. That's fine. And this is not fair because it's not enough footage. I'm trying to keep this very limited. But you go online and you look up Norbert Mayday or Mayday Norbert, and he's got some incredible stuff. These guys are very relaxed and powerful. Again, this is shit I saw over the years that I'm looking at going, well, wait a second. This is not how I'm being taught. But again, my biggest complaint with this lineage is their footwork, the 70-30 weight distribution. Because under Danny Halligan, again, Eric Lee, Ron Heimberger, Ip Ching, I was taught 70-30 weight distribution. Didn't work. When under Phil, somewhat the same. Then during my course of understanding with Phil, wait a second, it's got to be 50-50. Because again, YouTube just starts coming out at this era, and I'm like, it's okay to self-study and not follow what your Sifu says all the time. Which is why I got kicked out of Phil's class. Because I started advancing, and he's going, who else are you studying under? Nobody. I'm on YouTube watching stuff and then writing in my notebook and asking myself questions. If you don't have a notebook when you study this stuff and write shit down, I got notes from 15 years ago. I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't understand what this meant. It's important to study this art. Moving on a little bit. Let's see. This was a great video, years ago that was just so thematic and watched it, and this was really inspirational. And this was not the Wing Chun. I wasn't taught this kind of Wing Chun. I want to know what this is. And this is Victor Gutierrez. And of course, the O Fortuna from Carl Orff. That kind of helps. It kind of picks up slow, right? Like, yeah, Conan the Barbarian. Hopefully not. We can't get dinged on YouTube for this one. I'm going to mute this just in case. Because I may get dinged. Cool intro video. Great. But watch these guys. I think this is important. because they do. All right, let's go to the, man, back in the old days. All right, this is slow-mo demo. Where's the faster stuff? Slow-mo. Again, we weren't used to these like circular movements. Oh, then you go. Yeah, this was like, holy shit. This is aggressive, dude. Oh, look at the advancement going in. They closed that gap. That's why I was like, yes, I want this shit. We weren't taught like this. These guys were fucking brutal. This is Wing Chun. Right? This was Wing Chun. I love this stuff. The problem is there's a lot of lacking of lowering level and dealing with grapplers. But again, because their understanding of core is so much better than most Wing Chun people, that I honestly believe that if they understood more anti-grappling game, they probably would be. Out of everybody, I would suggest the martial art, the Wing Chun to use an example as. Again, I just don't like their footwork. That's and I've trained with a few people who are in this lineage. I've never had a problem with any of them. Now, if you put me up against any of these guys, who fucking knows what'll happen? I still think I'd come out on top because I'm a fucking psycho when it comes down to fighting. Again, this Victor Gutierrez, his stuff out there too. Bigger guy, very aggressive. This was the shit that I was like, damn, man, this is the Wing Chun I want. We just didn't train like this. We got to move on so again, when it came down to the power behind it, the relaxation, this was another video that, again, it was in the same kind of genre with Iman Bostepi, but this is what impressed me because we saw relaxation. And again, I was like, this is, they get it. They get how to put, if you're 180 pounds, how to put all 180 pounds into a punch.
The punch with the fist, we punch with the elbow. If I leave it here and then push my elbow in, you see, that the force comes from here. So we use 3 joints, our wrist, elbow, our shoulder. If you look at my shoulder, it's pulling even back. See? So it's not like this. So this would be a push. So by pulling my shoulder back, my joints are not going together, the bones. They're like hold it by tendons and muscle, very flexible.
These guys
so
understood
how long
it.
My fist goes back and forth. So even I don't touch, and I'm not going to open my fingers. So I'm that far away from Mike. I will hit with the whole surface, the lower 3 bones, the whole fist.
This was a lesson I applied.
Touch him. So, okay?
You listen to that
far
thud.
away, this will be enough to break his nose. So this is just
and
from
you
the
can hear
elbow.
it too. None of them take it easy on their students. None of them do, right? So again, I was so impressed with this understanding of relaxation power. It just was beyond impressive, right? I have to give a mention to as well. I'm going to give him because I think he's a great guy. I don't know what his relationship with everybody, and if he doesn't want me lumping him into it, it's tough because he came from here. Sifu Sergio, in my opinion, I think he's I think Sifu Sergio is the archive of Wing Chun, meaning that if there's a history that somebody understands everything that came from it, all the way from, the red junk to the different lineages, to this true history of whatnot. I honestly think that Sifu Sergio is the living, breathing encyclopedia of Wing Chun. I really do. So I want to give him a credit for that. Sifu Wang Zaipeng. God, he's awesome too. We'll get into him later on with, is he there? Yeah, these guys are great. I'll get to this later on. I got jumping ahead, way too far ahead. But that's Jai Harmon. Jai Harmon, you guys ain't ready for Jai Harmon. That guy is literally a killer. Well, I think the guy lived. We'll just put it that way. And then lastly, I think that a deviation from this that actually made sense was Sifu Klaus Brand, who there's like a 6-minute documentary where he talks about that all of us in Wing Chun try to relax this and that, but he teaches a different way, which is incorporating our natural fight and flight tensing upness and to embrace it. And when you look at the skill set he's got, I mean, it's evident in their delivery of power. This is Klaus Brand. I think this is fantastic. Just watch these guys' explosiveness. This would be like a hard Wing Chun. I think this is extremely practical. Boom. Nice. That's shock power, man. That's good shit. Yes. Even little woman, she hits you, you're going to feel it. Yeah, this was good. This was different, right? Because you don't have the separation of elbow power or the bull and the matador. But the problem is he learned it first. So if he knows it, he can break the rules and make it accommodating for what he's teaching, right? So that's why I think this is fantastic. That Sifu Klaus Brand. This is shock power, destructive. These guys, again, there's no deviation from their core. And I know I'm missing some guys, right? Alan, what was his name? Oh, crap. Alan Gold? Alan Goldman? Was he one of them? There's so many people that came from this lineage that, and again, and I'm sure that there's got to be infighting, right? Because everybody hates each other and everyone's going to have something. But I'm showing from my perspective, when I went through my Wing Chun journey, when I look at things and I criticize the William Chung lineage, I've trained with them. It doesn't work for me, and I've been able to easily defeat in a Chi Sao contest anybody who's from that lineage, right? Because of certain aspects. I'm smaller, I'm aggressive, I smother when they back up, I don't let them get any fucking space in. It was the same with this lineage for Lung Ting. But I showed a video up that I had before. I had a student who was with them for 10 years. He could hit me just as frequently and with the heavy weight, that's heavy sandbag weight power. Angel could wind up hitting me 10 times in a second. Heavy sandbag, like a black chap, right? Would hit, but he just couldn't keep up with my advancing footwork. So that's where I had the advantage on there, right? But I don't know. Maybe if he trained differently, he could have just had the advantage of height and speed and distance. The bottom line, for my opinion, when it comes down, because a lot of people are like, what do you think of Lung Ting's lineage? I think that Lung Ting's lineage is superior in knowing how to fight with the elbow when so many Wing Chun people don't. I hands down, they understand that they literally, it's like they have invisible from elbow to wrists. They just don't have arms. And when you touch them, they will, it feeds how their core reacts, and they'll attack you with their core. You saw several demonstrations in that in a Chi Sao aspect. Can you apply that to where your head would say, shit, this is how I could picture these guys allowing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys or wrestlers to come in and then dominate the fuck out of them. If you're a wrestler, you could, or somebody who's skilled in takedown, you could see where this could be potentially an issue. But it also is like, they're also inviting me in. If you're good at your game, anything goes. And then again, too, their level of aggression with how they train. They train more aggressively than anybody else. When they hit, they fucking hit. But all these guys, they're all overseas. They're not pussy Americans, right? So that's a big difference. Any of these guys walked in any of our schools, my just suggestion would be respectful as fucking hell, or you're going to wind up picking your teeth up off the mat. So hope that makes sense. I want to answer that question, what you guys thought, what I thought of the Lung Ting lineage, specifically under the Keith Kernspet era. I know I'm Sifu Dragos. I know I left you out, and there's a few other people that I know that later on I'm going to go, fuck, I forgot about this person. It's not meant that I didn't mean to exclude you. I just didn't think you guys at the time. So thanks much, guys. Hope you appreciate this. Hit that like button, comment in the comment section. Don't forget to wind up hitting that thanks button. Show us some love, and I'll see you guys in the next video.